so we got ex-Army Ranger Nicolas Irving. He's speaking on why China would crush us in a war. Um, I disagree, obviously, um, but he is an Army Ranger, and I am not an Army Ranger, not of any military experience or anything. But I just disagree that they would crush us in a war. But they will put up a good fight, and we're not used to that. But other than that, let's get right into what he's saying, and maybe I'm wrong.
And they, I want to get your thoughts on something because China, when they got hit with that tariff,
Uh huh.
they responded very quickly and they was like, they're ready to fight any type of war
Yeah.
that Trump wants to fight. Like,
Yeah, they not
they
scared.
came back with very, very strong words. They were like, if it's war that the U.S. wants,
Yeah,
be it tariff or a trade war or any other type of war, we're ready to fight to the end.
Yeah.
I
very
mean, you're a
specific
military
words.
man.
You don't want to hear that.
What do you think would happen if the U.S. went to war with China?
Wouldn't be a U.S. anymore. I think the
I
American
disagree.
people's mindset would change drastically. However you feel today and how you felt in the past, like erase all that. It would be like imagine this: like you want to get thrown back into the Stone Age in a matter of minutes. China has some hackers. They know how to do stuff. They have pretty good, really good technology. I'd go as far as to say probably in some aspects, better technology than we do. If they wanted to shut down our power grid, internet, and all that stuff, the electronic infrastructure, power grid, like we would be thrown back into the Stone Age.
He right.
And that's without even firing one shot. We did the same thing invading Iraq. Like that's one thing that we do invading another country. We shut
Yeah.
down their electrical powers. We bomb, certain things. But you want to take the
Infrastructure,
power
yeah.
away for them being able to communicate. You want to take that away. So if China wanted to, they could shut down the American population fairly easily and have everybody out here fighting amongst themselves, killing each other just for a loaf of bread.
Let me stop it right there. All right. So I agree with what he's saying about being able to hack into the grid and shut the grid down and have us out here starving and not being able to pump gas or uh, can't get water because the pumps are down. So all of that is true, but we do have like counter measures for stuff like that, and they are like pretty tough countermeasures. So it's not like we're just wide open as far as infrastructure is concerned. We're not as wide open as everybody says, but our grid is overextended and being taxed a lot due to everybody using electronics. So he's right in the sense that they can bring our grid down, but it would be really tough. It's not just a snap of a finger.
And then you get the troops involved. I think that the way the military, and you'll hear a lot
Our
of vets
troops
say
are
this,
better
like,
trained.
it was harder when I was in. I've been that guy too, but legitimately, you can look at it on paper. I think it was like 70% of the military personnel are overweight and obese, which is insane. It's a crazy high number.
That's
Don't
crazy.
quote me on 70, but I think we're about there. And just the mindset of the average troop nowadays, the average soldier, they're not prepared to really go all out for anything. Most of the guys are in for a paycheck, in free college.
He absolutely right when he say that. The mindset has changed because it's been more so peace in the last, I would say, decade. And so, yeah, a lot of people in this thing just to get a paycheck, to get through college, and travel. Obviously, a lot of people get in the military to travel. So he does have a point. And I didn't know 70% of the military was overweight. That's a crazy number to think about. But when you say overweight, is it overweight for your height? Because I mean, maybe they 10 pounds overweight, but like he's saying, you shouldn't be overweight if you're fighting for the country and you're earning that. You're trying to earn that, college and all the benefits that come along with it. So you got a point, man.
And they get a chance to travel the world. There's
Our
no war
troops are
going
better
on right
trained.
now, so half of the guys they're not even thinking about war. They don't even know what war is like. The war ended back in like real hard combat back in like 2012, 14 or something like that. I'm talking hard combat. We haven't seen war like that, and going up against a nation like China, a country like China, I don't think we're prepared for that. The average soldier, ground fighter, we fought guys in flip-flops and sandals and man dresses, for 20 years, and they put up a hell of a fight.
That's a different
Imagine
kind of
guys
fight,
with
though.
technology, training, money, power, more manpower. They have a Navy, Air Force. They have all that, the special forces. They have all that. It'd be a pretty good fight. And I just don't think that, your average, I don't know if this might come across weird or bad, but.
Before he even say what he about to say, like, they do have a Navy, an Air Force, special forces. But what I'll say is that our soldiers are better trained, and a lot of the times when he says that, like, he's not accounting the fact that the Iraq and Afghanistan war was more of them fighting the ideology than it was them fighting a country's government and an establishment. And like, yeah, it was you were still fighting ground militia. So that's, I mean, you can consider them ground militia, but they were considered terrorists. But like, it's different than fighting a country that has the same amount of infrastructure for you to impose your will on. So that's why that fight seems a little different for us in China, because we have the same amount to lose. Iraq and Afghanistan didn't. So that's, they had resources and there was nothing else out there. So that's the difference.
Like, you got soldiers who are more concerned about can they wear a dress on the weekends and identify as this. They're not thinking about fighting and doing what you have to do. When I was in,
he went
when I joined Ranger Battalion, the first question I was asked when I got in there was, why are we here? I had like a few other guys next to me. And he asked each of us, why are you here? And you come across with the whole, I want to serve my country, be all that I can be. And he's like, no, cut the bullshit. Why are you here? And as blunt as it may come across, we all to a T said, because I want to kill people. And that sounds bad, but in the time of war, that's what you don't become a special operations guy training and doing all this training to be a nation builder and win the hearts and minds. You only train for one specific job. Yeah. And it's all volunteer. You don't volunteer to get into this line of work and not want to kill or be capable of it. So I don't know. That
he got a point. Yeah, you gotta wanna kill, but he's an Army Ranger, so when he got into that force or that unit, like, of course you gotta be ready to kill, and you gotta have some acceptance of that when you get into the Army. And I guess that's where his doubt comes in, that because we've been at peace, that they aren't ready to go to war, in which that will weed out most of the people in the Army or in the military in the first place. But I still do think that because China has the same amount, if not a little bit less than us to lose, because they have a smaller sample size of a Navy, an Air Force, but they have a larger troop size. Yeah, it would be an interesting war. If we got into a ground war with troops, they may be able to overwhelm our troops. But if we're talking just pure ships, tanks, and planes, and all kinds of equipment, I think we got them. So that's where I would disagree with him. So let's get back to it though.
That's what I was in for. I think that mentality has shifted, changed. I was in during a time when it was just just that. We wanted to go kill as many bad guys as we possibly could. And we did
That was a mentality.
by the thousands. So just not used to that now. And we were doing it up against, people way less, not significant, but they didn't have the infrastructure that China has. And we fought them for 20 years.
They
and
had
on
the will
many of occasions had us tuck our tails for a while and run. So they put up a good fight. China would crush us.
I don't. I completely disagree with China would crush us. They had the will in Iraq and Afghanistan to defend their land. It depends on if China is willing to lose most of its military infrastructure to a war with the U.S. That's completely different because when you lose that, you lose your will to fight. That's why I keep saying they have just as much as us to lose, even though they have a smaller sample size of it. And so, and I still believe with all of that and with all of the lack of war and us being in peacetime, our troops and our special forces are still better trained than their troops and their special forces. And I'm biased because, of course, I'm from the U.S., but still, I also I used to work in the military industrial industry. Industrial industry. I used to work in the military defense industry, contracting industry. And the stuff that, like, I used to see pass through the facility, can't really talk about, but, like, yeah. Like, man, like, I wish I could say. And I'm pretty sure China has stuff like that, but I doubt they could keep up with us if we got into a all-out conflict. So maybe if they invaded and they got here on the ground, maybe. But we're a country full of arms. So they couldn't invade here, and they damn sure wouldn't be able to cross the Pacific without us finding out long before they got past Japan. So China will have a huge problem dealing with those issues before anything else. And that's why I disagree fully with China would crush us. Yeah, let's see what else he got to say.
Yo, this is why I so love to sit with you because my word to everything, I didn't expect this response.
Huh.
And I know that our viewers, they're going to be just like I was. I was literally sitting here and I'm processing everything you said from top to bottom. You said so much dope stuff. I almost don't.
Yeah, so it looked like that's all he had for us. Yeah. Like I said, I have no military experience. I've never been in the military. I've only worked with people in the military on military equipment of shit I can't speak of. So I know how some of the guys are, and I know they would disagree with China crushing us in a war. I wish I could call one of them right now, but hey, man, just a little reaction video. But let me know what y'all think in the comments, all that good stuff. Like, share, subscribe. And yeah, I'll get up with y'all in another one. I'm out.